time at dawn, the sun begins to rise. With my shovel in my hand, I'll chase that golden prize. Each step's a treasure found, a story waiting to unfold. In a wild and rugged land, where legends are told. The hills are whispering, calling out my name. With dreams of gleaming nuggets, I'm wild and untamed. There's golden in their hills, oh can't you see? With picks and shovels we'll create our legacy. It's not just the treasure, it's the thrill of the chase. With every trail we wander, we find our rightful place. From rivers deep and valleys wide, adventures.
Well, hey there, welcome. I pushed the wrong button, man. I kept trying to come in a little bit earlier, but anyways, for you guys that know, using all the old programs from the past is past. Yes, welcome, Gold Fever Radio. I'm Jack Tucker. Sure glad you guys tuned in for another Wednesday. What can I say? But anyways, what I was saying before I rudely interrupted myself was, I had that stupid program from the past that I could never figure out. So I decided just to break down and go back to the old program I had before. So it makes it a lot nicer. Anyway, it is Wednesday, December the 11th, 2024. That means there's only 20 days left in this year. Can you believe that? Only 20 days left in the year. Well, I'm only showing one part of my microphone working. I'm hoping it's all working. Let's see. Today is National Stretching Day. Oh, it's National App Day. It's National Noodle Ring Day. Well, stupid things. I don't know who does those. Let's see. Events. We had our metal detecting hunt last Saturday. That was a smaller turnout, but hey, everybody had fun. Got some prizes, and they got ahead on the coins. Let's see, our New Year's extravaganza, December 28th to 1/1. Man, it's really growing. It's going to be pretty good this year. A lot of new people. I think there's only 2 spots left. 2 camping sites is all that's left. And there's plenty of dry camping. But if you want more information about that to be part of the New Year's extravaganza where we dig and get some gold and have fun and band comes in, all of that. Anyways, you can call 928-851-7167 for more information. Let's see what else is going on. Got a new Patreon member, Neil Hansen. Welcome. Thanks for your support. And all prize wheels things have been mailed out. And that's the rest of the news. Okay. Let's see what's going on in the chat room. Paul. Hello, Paul. Always first, Paul. Josh. Hello, Josh. Half Bucket. Hello. Wednesday already. Hello. Yes, it is Wednesday. Alive and you. Yes. Let's see. Going to be 5 below with 25 mile per hour winds. Ooh, that's cold. Sure glad I don't have to do that. It's been cold here. It's showing like 69, but it feels like it's freezing cold. I got a heater on right now, and it feels freezing. Let's see. Mark Nye. Hello, Mark. Let's see. AZ Treasure Hunter. Oh, the AZ Gold Hunter. Hey, that's our guest. We have a guest tonight. Can you believe it, everybody? That's right. Mark. Jay. Hello, Jay. Hope all is well with you. Gary Jockum. Hello. You're looking dapper. Dapper? What's dapper mean? Hello there, Gary. How are you doing today, Gary? I'm looking dapper. I don't think there's a delay on this program like the other one. I had a long delay. This one might only have a couple moments delay. Let's see. Rocky Mountain Prospector Brad. Hello. Don G. Hello. And Timothy Pinkerton. Hello. You know what's weird, though? Let me try one thing here. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Wow, that's so funny because I couldn't leave a comment and I couldn't get down to my settings and I couldn't figure out why. It's because my screen was too big. I just did that. Cool. I just found something new that I did. Anyways, we have a guest. Yes, that is right. This guy, he's a legend, man, in his own time. He just doesn't even realize it. But he's a legend. Old Larry, you know, he is the Arizona, he's the treasure guy. But I'm not sure what happened, but I think he got abducted. You know, the aliens abducted him, I think, and I think they took him up in space. So, Larry, are you there from outer space? Are you there, Larry? I got to see if I can get Larry from outer space. You know, we got a delay from outer space. Is he there? Oh, there he is. Hello.
Hey, Jack. How you doing? I don't know about legend, but yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm glad this is connecting. I have to apologize to the crowd tonight. I think you've probably seen some news in the headlines. Unfortunately, I'm responsible. All those flying objects around the country, yeah, it's these guys. So Santa's getting a little old, so we're trying to get a new delivery system, and unfortunately, I guess that hasn't gone too good. But seriously, it's good to be on with you.
That's what they're practicing. The drones are for the delivery systems. They're just practicing over there first, huh?
Yeah, gosh knows what they're going to deliver. But
No,
so how's it going, Jack?
Hey, it sounds like some of them drones are pretty big. I'd like to have one of them myself, fly around, sitting in there, you know, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I actually have heard that there, and I don't know if you've encountered it, but there are some crews that are actually using drones to metal detect somehow. I don't know the science behind it, but they can literally read the ground, which is I'm sure that's for high-end mining.
I have seen that you can get DJI has, I think, an attachment you can put on some of the drones that metal detects, and it is very pricey. It is. But hey, I was sent a drone last week and I haven't used it yet. We should go out one time, and it is an underwater drone.
Wow.
And it's got a metal detector attached to it too.
Seriously.
Yes.
I could think of a few mine shafts that are flooded currently that are non-accessible. You know, even with pumping, they're just too full.
I was thinking like maybe going up to Lake Havasu in the channel there and looking for some rings and stuff like that people's lost, you know.
For sure. This is years ago. I remember when they drained Canyon Lake, they were working on, I think, some piers or the dam. I forget which, but it was drained, I'd probably say 90% down. And I remember walking out there, and there was this one guy, and this is before I was metal detecting, and he had his cans on and he's detecting. And I walk up to him. I'm like, hey, you have any luck? And we're literally in the middle of the lake on the mud. And he just presented his hand just full of rings, just full.
Wow.
So yeah, it's out there.
Yeah, where people, I mean, once they lose them in the water, it's hard, you know, especially in all the rocks and sand, especially in that sand, it just gets sucked right down in there. So
yeah, definitely.
Mike B, hello, the sound is good. Well, I'm glad the sound is good. I'm glad everything's working out. So Larry, tell us all about Larry. What is your why don't you introduce yourself for the people that don't know who you are?
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Illinois. I'm resistant to say the Chicago area, but the burbs of Chicago, Wheaton, Illinois, to be specific. Came out to Arizona about 24 years ago. As a child, I always loved geology. I spent a lot of time in Southern Illinois. Used to get fossils in creeks and whatnot down there, and down in Tennessee, various crystals and amethyst and quartz and stuff. But came out here 24 years ago, fell in love with it, never would go back. I been pretty serious about it and continuing to learn every day. But
so what is it that you love most to do? You say you're a gold hunter. Is that what you're doing? Like to do the most? The gold, the treasures? What is it you like to do most?
yeah, I would say I've kind of recently become more of a treasure hunter, and if you had asked me 10 years ago if I would even consider such, I would kind of probably like, nah. But I am a gold prospector first. That is my love. I love finding placer. I'm not really into hard rock. I have dealt with it with a few friends, but I love placer. I love finding it out by you. It's a really great area. I like metal detecting. I do get frustrated, can't deny. I use a Gold Monster 1000 and get very frustrated with the amount of bullets and debris that I find. But hopefully you can show me one day a little bit better. But
Yeah.
yeah, treasure hunting is pretty new to me. Just the last few years, I'd say. I've gotten around some people that are very serious with it, and they've shown me some things that are pretty amazing. I'm pretty close to the Superstition Mountains, and I'm sure everybody here knows the lore and legends and all that of that. But I will say there is amazing things, not only there, but other mountain ranges close by.
So, let's see. What's Aaron? Hello, Aaron. Welcome, Mark. Oh, happy birthday. Well, thank you. Coming up soon. Yes, I know. Uh, so you've been in the Superstitions a few times. I met you up there a few times there at the rendezvous up there. How many times have you been to the rendezvous?
Two now. I'm pretty new to that event. Um, I had tried to go 3 years ago, but something happened. But yeah, I'll be. My intention is for it to go many more decades. And whatever I can do to help. It's really just an incredible time to spend with like-minded people, not only gold prospectors, but obviously treasure hunters and historians, people that just love the history of the Superstition Mountain, especially for that event. And you've been there a couple times. I think last year was your first one.
No, that was my second. So
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's just listening to the stories, especially around the campfire and stuff. There's nothing like it. And Wayne Tuttle does an incredible job bringing everybody together, keeping the peace. And it's like I said, I hope we have many more to come.
yeah, no, he actually does a good. Brad got an Axiom. Bring it up with you when you come out, Brad. Everybody coming out, bring all your used equipment or whatever you want to buy, sell, trade equipment. That's what we're going to have is a big old swap meet. So bring all that stuff, bring your metal detectors, bring all your dry washers, bring everything that you have to bring out. So you mentioned something about one thing I've never seen, and there's always the talk of the Superstition out there, is that spiral staircase people talk a lot about. What is that exactly?
Well, that's a great question, Jack. It's a very interesting place. A couple people that I deal with have a lot more time on it and stuff, but it is basically on top of this hill, and it was found many years ago, but it basically is what it just sounds like. Is there's a spiral staircase at the bottom of a shaft, and there's reported where there was a hallway, I believe it's 130 feet, and then it opens up onto this spiral that goes down further. I forget the exact dimensions, but there's been various accounts of it, that there was heads carved in the side of the tunnel going to it. It's a weird place. It's people that have gone down it into the shaft say that they become almost disoriented. It's not like fearful, but it's odd because if there is such a thing as portals or something like that, it wouldn't shock me if there might be something to that around that area. It's a very, very, very unique place. We hope in the future to share it with everybody, and maybe in the future we can show a video here to your folks. I do have some raw footage of someone that went down it, but we're going to have a lot more footage and a lot more details coming forward that we'll share with everybody.
Cool. Yes, I would like to really. I know it seems like the last couple of years talked about going off to that place and looking at it and all that, but just never have. So
Yeah, we're going to make sure you get there for sure, Jack. Like I said, it's a pretty neat thing. My best guess on what it is something either Aztec or Mayan, and I know that sounds fantastic, but there are some shows recently that kind of imply that maybe the Aztecs went all the way up to Utah and whatnot. But if such a thing has taken place in Arizona, I suspect this could be something that they left behind, and or a different civilization of some sort.
So that place is out there near where the rendezvous is, where everybody goes or whatever. It's out in that area, or can you park elsewhere to go into it too?
No, it's somewhat off one of the main paths. There's a lot of petroglyphs in the area, which also kind of hint towards maybe there was a little bit more going on there than meets the eye, because there's a lot of those around the area. But it's a little bit of a hike. It's not something, for the sake of safety, we really don't want people going. It's extremely dangerous. I personally didn't go down. I have teenager daughters, and they need a dad. And when you go to the collar of this shaft, there's boulders the size of a car hood just getting ready to fall in. And so it's pretty dangerous. We hope to shore it up and maybe make it a little safer, and then maybe more people can get in and see it. But for right now, it's something I think that will be shared with video. You can go on Wayne Tuttle's Legend video series. I know he's got some video of him down it. There's a metal, I don't know what you call it, girder, like over the collar that was used to bucket it or whatever. But it's pretty dangerous.
So, Bobby.
Oh,
Bobby
yeah.
says, I can't wait to get into the spiral staircase. Larry, see you in a few weeks.
It's great to see you on here, Bobby. I got to tell you, his picture there. I don't know if I'm doing this off a phone, so I'm doing the best, and I probably should have my readers. That picture he has on there is probably one of the most amazing discoveries recently in the superstitions. He's found some other things, but I'll let him share those another time. But yeah, Bobby, I can't wait to get you back out here and get boots on the ground. We need you, and can't wait to work with you.
Yeah, well, both of you come out to camp. Let's go do something.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd love to see it up there. I like that area a lot. I was totally, we talked a little earlier tonight, and I thought you were up on the border. I had no idea, because that area where you're at is a lot closer.
Yeah, no, I'm right off of 60, actually. But I've been out chasing some of these Spanish treasure markings and stuff that I would like to try to find more of. So, but it's like you just said, the boots on the ground. The more people you have up there looking around to seeing stuff because of the writings, and looking for wherever caves might be or hidden stuff might be at. I think I found one opening, but it was empty. It was already cleaned out. But I'm sure there's more up around there. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing that's frustrating, especially for newcomers, and that's something I want to spend a lot of time, hopefully, to bring more people in, because, to be brutally frank, when you go to the Dutch Rendezvous and other events, you notice the age of the group. And I hate to say it, we're all getting older, we're getting gray. Some of us can't even go out anymore. One of the guys I've done a lot of stuff with, he's unfortunately terminal right now. So I mean, that's life. But hopefully we can get more youth involved and kind of pass these down. But it's hard because there's so much misinformation, much like anything else in the world right now. But when you're dealing with Spanish treasure, I remember a few years ago I had some guys, they found out I was researching for a possible show, and they were so excited to take me way south of Superior to show me some Spanish conquistador crosses carved in the side of a mountain. It was a 6-hour trip. We get out there, and it was a 4-person general, Polaris general, and I'm sitting in the back with the geologist. We pull up on site, and the two guys were so excited. They jump out, and they're like, look, look, look. Me and the geologist never even got out of the back seat. And I looked at the geologist, and I'm like, why aren't you getting out? And he's like, probably the same reason you are. We both look at it, and we're like, that's a natural feature. That's not carved crosses. But I mean, out of courtesy, we did get out just to appease the guys that took us. But there's so much stuff that's like that too, that's not real, unfortunately. I see pictures posted sometimes, and I love the community, and I watch everything, and I try to help. But I out of courtesy don't say much if it's like, I'm like, come on, man, that's a crack. It's not, oh, that's a somebody carved that. I'm like, you can tell what a real deal is. But the Spanish treasure is probably one of the more amazing things that is out here. I have seen items that anybody that has seen or found things, generally, if they're telling the real truth, you're not going to hear about it. And that's the hard part too, because those that do talk about it usually, I call them fish stories. It's like, yeah, the fish was this big when it was actually a minnow. But
Yeah. So you being out near the superstitions, then have you ever gone in looking for the lost treasure?
yeah, of course. I mean, I think everybody that is yeah. I can't say that I have a lot of faith. I think that label is exactly that. It's a label. One of the funnier things you'll read is old geology reports where they say, "Oh, there's no gold in the superstitions." Well, we know that is not correct. There absolutely has been gold found on the west side and the east side, and other places. But I think of that more as a label. I mean, I know people that are like, "Oh, I know exactly where it is." The gentleman I was speaking of that's terminal right now, he says he for sure, and I have his maps, and we will go look upon his passing and take a peek. But it's I think it's more the legend of it, and somebody told me something, and I'll share this. This was something that I actually kind of snickered at, but I showed respect. I was told many years ago that when I first became a gold prospector, I was like, oh man, I'm going to get rich. I can't wait. I'm going to quit my day job, and I don't have to worry about nothing. I'm going to be buying trucks left and right. And I remember this old timer with a big gray beard looked at me, and he's like, ah, yeah, you're going to get rich. Okay. He's like, you know what, kid? He's like, it's not going to be the gold that you find. He's like, it's going to be the people that you meet, the places that you go, and the things that you see that will be the real treasure. And I got to tell you, though, at that time, I kind of was like, I showed him respect, obviously, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, this guy's crazy. He just hasn't found any. I will say those are the truest words I've ever heard in my life. And it's 100% right. The people that I've met and the friends I've made and the community, this one here is a great example. The Dutch hunting community, it's just, that is the treasure.
That is true. So the person you were speaking of earlier, let's see, can I make sure? Wonder if we're on the same. If could I give first names? Would that be safe
Possibly.
to say? So like I think there was a Louis, and I think there was a Steve. Any of those who you're
No,
thinking of? Okay.
no. This person, the person that told me that, is off the grid, and doesn't do stuff like not part of the
Okay.
communities. Yeah, he was truly an old prospector, and could read ground very well. I wish I had the skills that he does.
Okay. Yeah, both these people say they know they have found the Dutchmans and all these maps, and they've sent me pictures and want to go out. But yeah, blah blah.
Yeah, I'll give one
Mike.
thing. I'll give one thing to the community. There's all these clues, obviously. Everybody assumes that you can see it from the path. Maybe not. Maybe you need to get on to rocks to see the real signs. We'll leave it at that. But I've been shown Polaroids that are very interesting, and I'm like, wow. And it's kind of funny because a lot of the stories you hear of the Dutchman and this and that, it's there's half truth to a lot of them, but then when you start seeing other things, you're like, wait a second, everybody's been getting this wrong the whole time. I have no idea. Haven't seen the Dutchman myself. Hope to, but much like the comment, before, it's the journey going, and it's just the other stuff that is the treasure for me.
Yeah. Well, I thought what's his name? That one guy said he thought he found it. The let's see what's going. Let's see, Gary. That word is DA as in apple pepper. I still don't get it. Mike B, that's good advice. Mandy's Candy. Hey, Jack and AZ Gold Hunter. Hello. Joshua, hello.
Sorry if I missed anything on the chat, by the way. I'm dealing on a phone, so it's small.
Yeah. If anything good, I will throw. If anybody's got any questions for this wealth of knowledge, Mr. Larry himself, man, he's got more knowledge. And if he doesn't, you heard him, he's on a phone and he's got Google right there. So, no, what's his name? The old guy that comes out to the Dutch Hunter. He says he's found where he thinks the treasure's at.
Maybe John Wayne Galloway. Maybe is that
No, I don't think that was his name. I think he's wrote some books, and he's been a speaker. I think last year he was a speaker. Not this last time, but the time before he was a speaker. I can't think what his name was, but he says that he thought, because I think he just did a video or something, or posted something that he knows where the treasure's at or something. I thought.
Well, I mean, Jack, literally, there's, I know Wayne Tuttle says it frequently that he hears, I don't know if it's on a weekly basis, but quite often, from various people that, I found it. I hear, and I'm nowhere near, I don't talk to anywhere near the people. And I probably hear from 4 to 5 people a month, I found it, or wow, you guys are all wrong. I found it, so I've also heard that it's been found and that it's been cleared, and that I would say that's more believable. I don't know how many people here watch a TV show that is currently on, but I'm not going to pick on anything with that show because TV's TV, but there was even a claim on that show a few episodes ago that the Dutchman had been found by a community member here in Arizona that's pretty well known. It's continuous. It's probably hundreds and hundreds of times people have said they found it.
Yeah, well, I have my beliefs on that too. Hello, Red. Good evening. I think that I used to always say, yeah, Dutchman never found his gold there. That was just a stop off where he tried to fool people. He went up in there to try to throw him off his trail. He probably went up into Prescott or something else to get his gold. That was just so Larry says, let me throw some questions up here.
Yeah, I see one from Half Bucket.
Yeah.
Have I done dowsing? To be brutally honest, yes. I'm horrible at it. I have the gentleman, I'm just going to say his name because he is off grid, so that he won't be bothered by this, but his name is Alan. He goes by Tree. He, however, uses rods continuously, and I've never seen anything like it. I was somewhat of a disbeliever until pure examples. I mean, people lost a set of car keys, boom, right to them. This guy, I remember going to the area we went, Jack, me and you, with that gentleman, and he asked me, "What do you want to find?" And I said, well, I'd like to find, and because he named different categories, gold nugget, coin, whatever. And at that time, I felt pretty confident about the coin because of another person's video. And boom, right to a coin. So dowsing is pretty interesting. It's something I'm trying to learn. Not good at it. Let's see. I'm trying to read any of these other. Can you still prospect in the superstitions? No. Absolutely not. And it doesn't mean that people don't. I mean, backpacks are a wonderful thing. You just legally know. You can't. Feldman. I mean, you.
Yeah. That's who I was thinking of. Ron Feldman's who I was thinking of that said that he found it.
Yeah, and yeah, it's that is another family member of the Feldmans is on a show now, and that claim was too.
Okay.
I don't really know. I mean, the Feldmans are a great family. I love Ron, Jesse, and Josh. It's hard to say, and the thing is even if somebody does find it or did find it, you would not tell anybody, and it's probably the hardest thing. You look at the guys from Oak Island. Okay, so Marty and Rick, I believe. Marty has an incredible amount of money. He has I believe an energy business, that like wind farms and stuff like that. He also has funded, and I think it's on one of their shows about Beyond Oak Island. He's funded a treasure diving team off Florida, and they actually found something pretty recently. They unfortunately went public with it and lost it because of legalities. So that's it's one of those things. It's like you want the notoriety. So the Dutchman, you want the notoriety, you want the TV cameras. Oh, I found the Dutchman. It would be the biggest story in the Southwest. Unfortunately, it would probably be your demise too.
Oh, I'm sure. Paul says, what kind of rods does that guy use?
He uses copper ones that he made.
Let's see. So, Rez, is there enough gold to look for down near Superior?
Well, certainly. I mean, Superior, Globe, that whole area. I mean, they call it the Copper Corridor or whatever. I deal with the public a great deal. I'm in Northeast Mesa. I'm up against Usery Mountain, and I work with the public. I talk to a lot of the miners that are out in the big mines, out in Globe and Kearney and all that. All of them will tell you the amount of gold that comes out of that ground, along with the copper, is vast. So yes, there's a good amount of gold out there. The copper obviously is the main product, but with it comes silver, gold, palladium, platinum, nickel, all kinds of stuff. So yes, there is a lot out there. That area is kind of tough because of the big mines. They have it pretty much claimed up. But if you detect in some of the washes and stuff, generally nobody will mess with you, including the big companies. I mean, I'd try to ask forgiveness if you got caught, but they're not after that. They're after making big pits and stuff. So
I used to have a claim down on Pinto Creek, right there off of Superior. You had to go all the way down past all those big mines. Roadrunners
Sure.
had some claims down there too.
Yep.
I don't know if they still do or not. Are you guys seeing drones, Dan? Are you guys seeing any drones? Not here.
None here either. I walk my dogs at night because I live right up against, with my family, we live right up against Usery Mountain. So I got little dogs, and we got coyotes and everything else that would love to munch on them. So I go out at night with them, and I've been looking, especially with the headlines. It's got to be one of the weirdest things. I don't know if you followed it at all, Jack, but I got to say, it is one of the most unusual story, and it got even weirder today. Did you hear the one congressman said that it was
Mothership.
a mothership from
Yeah.
Iran?
Yeah. I believe that's what it is. I believe absolutely. And because they saw what this administration did when the China weather balloon came over, nothing. They didn't do anything about it. And so these drones are gathering all this information, and they'll continue to do so until they're forced out of the sky.
Yeah, I don't know how they are allowing these objects to stay up. I don't know. I mean, if you go on X/Twitter, there's thousands of people's videos, especially in New Jersey, with these objects. And I mean, some of the people are literally scared because I mean, they don't they don't know. Or is there a bomb on these things? Are they? I do believe they're surveillance drones of some sort. But I mean, and of course, half the people think they're from somewhere else. So hence my wallpaper. I was just kind of poking at it, but yeah, it's very alarming. I don't really understand why we're allowing it.
But what surveillance drones? Because I heard them say that some of these drones as big as an SUV. So
Yes.
surveillance. Why would you need a drone that big just for surveillance? And if you're surveillance, why do you got all the lights and stuff on? You know.
Yeah, you would think they would. I mean, a lot of the reports are once they're engaged either with another drone or an aircraft, that they go black and they
Right.
turn off their
I've heard
lights and
that.
they disappear. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, then why have your lights on at all is my question. Like you just said, I don't know. The whole thing is weird, and it feels like something big might be happening. I know, and it's not making the headlines at all. A good friend of mine in Pittsburgh, Sergeant Rock, I think he's out there. He sends me things, but I know there is some headlines that China is moving a major fleet in the Straits off Taiwan, and you're not going to see that on too much news. You can verify it, but you got to wonder, are they getting ready to do so? I mean, who knows? It's just bizarre.
I know. You know what'd be funny? I ought to go out and fly my drone, just fly it over the neighbor's house because it's all lit up, and so there people would start to say, "Oh, the drones are now over Phoenix."
Yeah. I know Tucson had some reportings, which, I don't know. And then Surprise a couple nights ago or 2 nights ago, Surprise. I actually asked Wayne if he had seen anything, and he said, which I fully get. They got the Air Force Base out there. Of course, you see stuff. You see stuff all the time. They got Luke Air Force Base out there, and they're always flying stuff. Out here where I live, I'm on basically the test path for Boeing for the Apache. So I mean, we got them up in the air, and they like to goof around in the mountains and stuff. So I don't know. It's a weird one and something to watch for sure. Have you seen anything ever weird, Jack? Like unexplained?
Yeah. So Half Bucket says, anybody own a shotgun? Well, they're afraid to shoot it down because they don't know if they're full of gas or fuel or bombs or what. But anyway, so let's see. Mike B, Mike Bush, Scott. I remember years ago, well, out by you actually, I used to go prospecting out in Rye, just below Payson area. And I lived in Gilbert at the time, so I'd go up 87. And someplace when you get up on top, as you're going up over the pass, you can sit up on top and look for miles out over the valley. And this guy I knew would come from the Phoenix area, and I could see him when he was coming down at nighttime. So I would sit up on top and look for his lights, on these headlights to come down. And I'm sitting up there one time, and over in the distance, probably, maybe, I don't know, maybe 1,000 yards away, maybe a little more. It looked like, I didn't know what it was, but I saw something with lights on it, and it got my attention. And then all of a sudden, it was just before it started to get dark too. And then all of a sudden, I saw this thing coming out of like you see in ship, do 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 do, and then went back, do 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 do, and I thought, wow, that is freaking strange. And then it just freaking left. I didn't know what it was, but that was pretty strange. Yeah,
That's wild. I've never seen anything UFO related, or UAP is, I guess, the term they use now. I did have a pretty interesting phenomena as a kid, though. I was down in Southern Illinois with my mom and dad, and there's a place down there called LaRue Pine Hills. It's pretty remote. It's in the Shawnee National Forest. My mom was basically an amateur herpetologist, which is she basically would study reptiles and amphibians, and she would collect a lot of different specimens for Brookfield Zoo and various other zoos around the country. Well, anyway, we're down there, and my mom was on the tailgate. It was a Chevy S10 pickup, tiny little thing with a cap. She was on the tailgate, and she was collecting some sort of frog. I don't really remember what, but me and my dad were in the cab. And we're on this road, and that road is actually famous. It's called the Snake Road. You can actually look it up. It's closed twice a year, and it's because there's a migration of animals that go from it's kind of mountainous, but it's bluffs, and then it goes into lakes and swamps on towards the west. Anyway, there's a migration that takes place with animals that cross, and they have to close the road because there's just everything. It's like Noah's Ark. Well, we're on this road. It's probably 9 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden, and my dad's doing probably 5 miles an hour because my mom's just dangling her feet on the tailgate collecting these frogs. And all of a sudden, this thing, and I know you're all going to laugh now, this massive, thick, probably 8 foot tall, brown, furry thing runs right in front of the bumper. My dad slams on the brakes, even doing 5 mile an hour, we still jerk forward. And I remember my dad grabbed, there was a shot or a gun in the rack. This is the olden days when you had a rack with rifles in the window. Grabbed a rifle, chambered one, he had a cop light on the side, put it into the forest and went running after it. I got to tell you, when you hear people talk about Bigfoot or whatever, Sasquatch, whatever, I'm always sympathetic because I wished that away for years. I wished I hadn't seen it because anytime you say something or tell the story, people are like, yeah, okay. But I got to tell you, I don't know. I don't know what it was. Never will know. It's funny because a few years ago, I'm here in Arizona, long away from Illinois, and I think I'm doing some YouTube research or whatever, and I come across that there's a movie coming out called The Big Muddy Monster. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I find out that I'm not alone, that there was actually the same creature all through the southern Illinois area, Murfreesboro, Illinois, police department in Murfreesboro, sheriff's deputies, they were chasing this thing. And apparently there was hundreds of people that saw this same thing. But that's my only claim to fame from unknown.
Wow. Let's see. Let me see who's sneaking in here. Scott, hello. I'm fine. Roland Saxton, hello. You're finally here. I'm just trying to catch up on all of this stuff here. The military drones are a lot different than DHI drones. Sounds fishy. Scott Kendall, New Jersey, has most people per square mile. Luis Humberto Rojas Cortez from Chile. It's cold over there. Chile. It's chilly over there. That's why they named it Chile. That or it's hot peppers over there. Yes, Paul, I used to drink back in those days. Scott Kendall. So where's the next gold adventure? M Detect D Wash. I'm not sure what that is. Seen a satellite from SpaceX, quite a scene. Scott Kendall, cool. Roberto, I am new to AZ. I'm in Sun City looking for someone who will be willing to take me out prospecting.
Oh, Roberta, or it's Roberta, right?
Roberta, yeah.
Roberto, yeah. Or I would say, maybe check with one of the clubs. I know the GPAA, the Roadrunners. You could also Facebook groups. That would probably be my number one pick. There's a ton of different groups on there that you could probably find somebody and somebody out in that area. There's some good stuff out there too. So that's a real good area, especially if you go northwest.
Yeah, it's okay. Metal detect or dry wash, Scott. I don't know what that means. Metal detect or dry wash. You can do anything you want.
Yeah, he's saying either or. I am not a big fan of dry washing. I apologize to the community. I know here come the tomatoes being flung at me. Yeah, I know. And maybe I just need to, maybe you need to show me, Jack, but I worry about, the stuff you get in your lungs. And I'm not paranoid. I'm not, COVID masker or anything like that. But I do the silica and all that. I don't know. It just, I see some of these guys dry wash and they got this cloud around them. And I'm like, that can't be good. I mean, but
no, I've dry washed in Arizona ever since the 90s, and I don't wear mask. And I remember we used to in the summertime used to do it at nighttime just because it was so hot. And I remember there was no wind and the dust just lingers. And I remember sucking in so much dust that I actually was puking from just the dust. And every night when you're done dry washing, you got black boogers and all that. But you know what? Maybe that's why I can't breathe good to this day. But
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm not gonna lie. I do some stupid things that definitely aren't safe. It's going underground and mine shafts and stuff. I mean, I'm not doing an air monitor or anything. So I get it. I try to reduce, my chat. I forget what it is. It's what miners used to get. Maybe somebody on here can type it.
Well, you get that black lungs or whatever they call that. I think.
Yeah, it's silicosis or I don't know.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, the the dust. When you think about that, the dust does have all the your breakdowns of the silica, which is what quartz or whatever all that is that breaks down, and you get so you can get all them. You get the hantavirus. I worry more when you get into the rat's nest when you're digging them up for that hantavirus and silicosis. Josh says, yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, that one is a real bad one. Yeah, that very common in Texas and stuff, especially with people that they're sweeping out a barn and there's mouse droppings or whatever.
Yeah,
that one will put you down.
That you probably should. Yeah, if you're around insulation and attics and stuff like that where there's mouse turds, you probably should. Janan, welcome. Roland says he prefers dry wash. I used to always I used to hate metal detecting. I mean, I hated metal detecting with a passion. I just dry washed. And I used to have some claims up near Stanton area. And I got so freaking tired of all these people from there coming down on my claims, metal detecting, saying there was some other claim. So one time, me and a buddy, and I've told this story to many people, me and a buddy, this was a 160-acre claim that we had there. So me and a buddy took one time these gigantic sacks of BBs, and we drove all over the place just throwing these BBs all over that claim there just to keep those metal detector people off of that. I can go out every day, dry wash and find some gold. Every day, dry wash, find some gold. And one day this guy told me, I may go out and metal detect and I may not find any gold for a week, but when I do, it's going to be bigger than all that gold you find dry washing, and I don't have to work as hard. And I used to say, that's bull crap. Well, you know what? I believe him now. So I enjoy dry washing, but I probably prefer metal detected. So, you decided to change your background.
Yeah, I don't know if I broke it though. I don't know how I get back, but well, hopefully it'll work.
You got off the mothership and now you're back. Let's see. Mike Bush said, I saw them when I was truck driving at like 2 a.m. on I-40 crossing to Arizona from California. What was nuts was how fast it was moving. Is that Bigfoot? How fast Bigfoot? Scott says, what's your next adventure, Jack? I don't know what my next adventure. I'm waiting for you guys to come out here and then we'll go on an adventure. I run out of adventures, man.
Yeah, come down here, Jack. We got some stuff. Right now I'm unfortunately on a little bit of a pause, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm trying to help my friend who's pretty sick right now, but yeah, we're going to be doing some fun stuff, including the spiral and stuff. So we'll make sure we get you down for it.
Absolutely, yes. I say I'm always up for a treasure hunt. I'm always up for exploring. I always say my life is an open book. I'm a documentation. I go into Walmart and I have a body cam on. I film everything.
Do you use a GoPro? I have a lot of GoPro footage, but one thing I found is they overheat like crazy. So I'm looking for maybe something different.
They all overheat, and I know I've got all the GoPros from clear back to 3 all the way. I think the last one was a 10 or whatever it was. I have them all. I don't like to use GoPros. I just bought that Insta360 camera, and then I have the DJI Pocket 3, which is kind of cool. They're all good cameras, but you know what I go to all the time is my phone. That's
Yeah.
just my go-to camera. I can hook up the DJI mics to that. I can shoot with the camera. I can edit with the camera, and I can upload with the camera. I don't have to do anything else. So I like to shoot with the camera.
Yeah, I've gotten so frustrated with the GoPros because like 10 minutes and all of a sudden boop, and I've even had batteries. I had one battery swell so bad I almost had to pry it out with a screwdriver because it blew up.
I have read where some people are talking about the one of them ones of the DJIs, they were overheating, and that was let's see. Roberto says, yeah, we'll go out anytime. Okay, well, we go out anytime you want to. Come on down. We'll go for an adventure. Dan Harmon was saying, okay, let me back up here. True, guys, but if you need to mask up to dry wash and you'll get some gold, I think you're turning into pussies. You can say, you don't have to blank it out. You can say pussies. That's okay. You can say here, you can say whatever you want here. We're on the internet. We're not FCC regulated. You can say dick, pussies, whatever you want to say. It's okay. We don't care. We're all adults here. Let's see. Red says, just wondering with the Monster 1000 if I should be detecting more in the smaller washes or up on the banks. I was told to try to stay on bedrock with this machine. Well, I'll give you my advice. Gold doesn't come from the washes. It comes from the hills and works its way down into the washes. So you can check the washes, absolutely, but gold is going to be up above too. Thing with the monsters, it's a VLF and it's going to go off on every single freaking rock that's possible. So that's going to be your learning curve.
The washes, I mean, the amount of casings, from bullets and stuff, they just, I think because they're lighter, there's so many in washes and stuff. I find the benches, above are going to be your, much what, kind of what you said, the hillside.
Yeah, everything ends up in the washes, and especially every light thing, lighter than gold, all them wires, everything ends up in the wash. I don't like to hunt in washes, but if you're on bedrock, bedrock is a little bit different because gold will get trapped in the bedrocks and stuff like that. So, you can check your bedrock, but yeah, don't be afraid to especially if you see, you're looking for evidence of, oh God, it's hard to say. Like I like to hunt with saddles, because saddles, you got everything coming off of that saddle into one wash. So you've got all the surrounding hills there coming into the wash. So if you're starting in that wash and there's gold in that wash, it's coming from within that saddle someplace. So get out of that wash and start to locate where it's coming from, and you're going to find, the nuggets in your washes. You want to also look at that black sand, because if your black sand is chunky and thick, well, there's some nice gold around there. But if that black sand is fine and ground down, well, your gold is not going to be in that wash, because it's all going to be fine and chopped up like that too.
Yeah, that's something I'm still kind of learning how to read black sand, because there's so many different washes. There's some with like 4 feet down, just thick black sand, and it's nothing, just nothing. But then, so you're saying look for the chunkier.
Yeah, chunky black sand, chunky gold, fine black sand, because as the black sand's traveling with the gold, it's getting ground down. And so as the black sand's getting ground down, so's the gold.
Makes sense.
So, just like larger rocks, gold will travel with the larger rocks. Gold won't travel with that just mud or just dirt. It needs, the rocks and sands and stuff like that there. Yeah. Kendall says, thinking about moving out that way. Well, come on, anytime.
Where are you at, Kendall?
Scott Kendall.
Oh, in Georgia,
Oh,
I think.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, Georgia's.
Georgia's got some. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Georgia's got some pretty good gold. I actually been reading quite a bit about and seeing various accounts.
Georgia's. You got Dahlonega gold mine out there in Georgia. You got the red clay out there in Georgia. That's Georgia's famous red clay. But you do got some gold out there in the benches in Georgia. Cheap SD cards will cause excessive heat. Oh, I didn't know that. Cheap SD cards will cause excessive heat. I have heard people say use a good SD card, and
Yeah,
I always wonder what the difference is, but
yeah.
maybe that's why.
I run the ultras, and I mean, I'm sure there's cards that are even more pricey, but I still get the overheating. It's I can not overheat if I take it down low resolution, but I'm like, I try to shoot in 4K because I try to future proof it. It's like you look at old JPEGs that photos that you shot when it was 640 by whatever it is, 480, and they're garbage now. So I try to shoot as high as I can, but I don't know. I wish they would make one that just wouldn't overheat. And granted, in Arizona we're going to have that problem probably regardless. I was going to say, somebody was asking about Roadrunners. I think somebody just answered it though. Yeah, Roadrunners is a prospecting club, and I've heard good things. Not sure where you could sign up now because the gold shows don't really seem to. I know there was one recently. Did you go this last weekend to the Wickenburg thing?
No, I have been a Roadrunner I'm a lifetime member of Roadrunner.
Yeah.
I haven't been on any of their claims though for several years. One day I'm going to start again. You can go on. They got a website you can go on, I believe, on the Roadrunners. Janon, one day maybe I'll have to come out there when I retire and I have time just to travel around. I'd love to come out there and detect. I know there's good gold in California. That's the mother lode out there that like to do that. Thomas Pennywade. Hello, Thomas. Red Scott, I'm a member of the Road. Oh, okay, that was what you read. Let's see. Skywatch and Detect Gold Monster. Roadrunners, what? Beep Beep, Roadrunners. Roadrunners Prospecting Club, Beep Beep. I prefer the DJI Action Cam 4 or 5 Pro over the GoPro. I'm done with them overheating. Yes, I've just heard a lot of bad about the GoPros overheating. Howdy, WTH. I found my best gold out of the washes. Yes, out of the washes. Thomas says. Carrollton, Georgia. I'm not sure where that's at. I used to hang down there I used to go out there a lot, like in the Carolinas, Vane Mountain area, South Carolina, and we'd go into Georgia, whatever that is. But I used to do some prospecting out there years ago. Dan Harmon, gold, where gold you go, where gold has been found before. Where gold has been found, but how do you always know? When I was up in Rye one time, I'm walking through this wash, and I see this big hole going inside the hill, and I'm thinking, man, they must be pulling out some gold out of that thing. So I get down, fill up like 20 buckets, haul them whole. Didn't find any gold. That hole keeps getting bigger and bigger. Nobody's ever finding any gold in it. So you sometimes got to watch what people are digging, But look for old timers in washes. The old timers would throw their rocks up on the banks. And that's what you're kind of looking for. Some old time dry wash tailings, piles where the rocks are on the banks. Chinese would stack their rocks. That's just a habit they have. So wherever you see stacked rocks, that was Chinese were there. So any of those type of indications that you could find gold. If you go into wash and there's no evidence of dry wash and no rocks thrown out on the bank, there's probably no gold there either, because the old timers would have found it.
Joshua had put Mount Ord. I'm curious what about Mount Ord? You just put the name. I've actually
Isn't
been
that
around that area quite a bit, but not sure if it's the same one.
is that down by Tucson?
No, it's actually there's a Mount Ord up the Beeline, and to the direct west of it is a pretty interesting area back there, and there have been some relics pulled out of there.
Oh, okay. Website info. I think I don't know. Remember what it is. I don't have a. They have a monthly magazine, the Bird Tailings. Let me. I can try to tell you here if I could see if I can get one of their Roadrunners Bird Tailings. Let's see. I'll tell you if there's got a website here. I will tell you that. If you just go Google Roadrunners Prospectors Club, it'll come up.
Have you heard, Jack? What's the status of the GPAA? Like, are they going to do any more gold shows?
No, my understanding is they stopped doing the gold shows.
Huh.
They're just letting the individual chapters kind of do them now. I think I've heard different stories, but I think they're in trouble financially, and
I've heard the same. That's why I was wondering if you had heard.
When they close down the big shop and they get a little store but when you hear stories like the big honchos all drive brand new Teslas and BMW, all they're doing is just raping their members. They just let the individual chapters run the shows now, and they're just kind of living on the glories. I was a LDMA member. I joined back in early 90s, and I was one forever. But these last couple of years, I just let it go. They become so political. I don't even go on the GPA claims anymore. I just have nothing to do with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just miss the shows. It was a chance for people to get together. And I guess this is mean. I was never a real fan of the GPAA, so to speak, but I enjoyed the conventions.
Yeah, there's all that was true, and it was where you'd go there and they'd have and I used to enjoy doing the panning contest and all of that at the GPA shows and mix and mingling with these guys and seeing people. But now it's just the chapter things, and it's just so much, it's just political, and it's just all fundraising, and it's just all buy our nuggets and get these raffles, and it's just like they're losing what it's about. You mentioned earlier about the camaraderie, the treasures, the fun. It seems like they're taking that away.
Yeah.
Roadrunners will have a booth at the flag show in Mesa, January 3 to 5th, and the courtside show in February, Timothy says. Let's see, Wayne, have you seen the old gun found from the Spanish about 1550 in Arizona? I have not found the site. No.
I think he means the cannon. Is that what you're talking about, Wayne? It kind of made it.
Oh yeah, I heard that on the news the other day. They found a cannon someplace.
Yeah. What an incredible find.
Oh, that would be. Said they just left it where they found it. Yes. Wow.
Yeah. From I don't know why I can't think of the.
Dude, so found of mine told me he and a friend found an old sword stuck into the ground in the mountain here. Huh. Well, boy, out here,
we could talk for hours about things photos I've seen with people I've worked with of things they found. It boggles the mind what has been found and what is out there. And everything from Spanish conquistador armor to obviously, people talk about bars and stuff. And I know when I first started hearing about bars, I was thinking of Hollywood. You get the big, it's so. No, they're like little cigars and usually very, very crude looking. But the rifles, swords, artifacts, just unbelievable what's out there.
Oh yeah, tell us some of them stories.
Tell you some of those stories. Well, obviously there's a story of a there's a shaft where there was a desk and some skeletons sitting at the desk with blunderbusses against the wall. That is now gone. It's been filled in by the county and the state. But that was a famous site, or rumored to be site, from Bob Ward, which is a figure in Dutch hunting lore. As far as other things, caves with rifles. I have a rifle that was found sitting against a cactus saguaro, and if you think about that, and it's old, it's from the 1800s. If you think about that, you just, I try to place myself back in time and wonder, what happened. Like, for a person to leave their rifle would kind of imply that they passed away. Did some Indians come up on him? Did he die of just natural causes? You wouldn't just leave your rifle, and that was found actually real close to where me and you went, Jack. And that's, it's, once again, it's not just the find, it's the story that I'm always interested in, and we'll never know, but to find an old rifle from the 1800s, it's not just the artifact, it's the history, it's the story, if you can find such. And but yeah, there's too many to even list. I hope to, in the future, share with the community quite a bit of stuff. There is, like I said, somebody that's passing away, that there's going to be some neat things I'll share with everybody, because there won't be any risk of reprisal, obviously, if the person's passed. But that'll be maybe another episode. What's the most interesting thing you've found, Jack? Besides, I mean, obviously gold first of all, but like, have you found anything historical?
Yeah, I don't know if I showed you that doll. I showed it to Wayne. Did you hear about that story?
I didn't.
I did a little video, but I blanked it out because it just kind of scared me. But I had a friend that told me that he was sitting in a restaurant one time, just passing the time, and these cowboy guys walked in and started snickering at. Oh no, never mind. That's a song. I got sidetracked there. But he was talking. I heard these people talking in the restaurant, and they're talking about this Spanish sword that they'd found. So he said, "Oh, I'd like to see that." So they showed it to him, and he said, "Yeah, it definitely is a Spanish sword." And so he asked me, "Let's go out in this area to just kind of play around." So it was out near here. So we went out there, and he thought which mountain it may have come from, and so we're driving around anyway. We end up clear up over the hill and exploring old mines and stuff like that, but never did find anything else other than that. I've been to this area before. There's some old foundations and, rock walls and some old mines out there and stuff like that. But a while back, last year, I was out there playing around, metal detecting and just driving the ATV. And I saw these rocks that just kind of looked out of place. They just didn't look like they belonged there. So I ran my metal detector over them, and I got a little signal. And they looked almost like they were stacked bricks or something like that there. And so oh man, you went right into the background. Hey, that was cool, man. How you just like vanished like that. But so, and one of these rocks came out, and I could see inside of it, and it looked like a great big lizard, or a big snake or something like that. So I got the stick, and I'm poking it, and it's like coming apart, and I'm thinking, wow, what it's like newspaper just deteriorating, and I didn't know what it really was. And so I kind of flipped another rock out of the way, and I grabbed this thing and pulled it out, and it hit the ground. And when it hit the ground, I moved it, and I realized it wasn't an animal or anything like that, but this object was wrapped in this cloth-like thing, and it just was so old it was just deteriorating as you touched it. I run the detector over and didn't get a signal on it, and so I started detecting around, and I found this old coin. And then I found another one, and they were smashed, and I didn't know what they were. They kind of looked like your old Spanish coins they talk about, reals, kind of like those. But when I went to Utah on that Moon Lake Rendezvous thing they had last year, and I showed it to one guy, he told me they were 1663 King Edwards is what they were. And I thought, wow, that's kind of really cool. And I showed it to Wayne, and Wayne was telling me because the one's hammered and they did things by the weights. That's how they did their coin. But this other thing I found was a little doll, like a little Aztec doll made out of clay. And that was pretty weird. So
That is wild. Well, I'll show you a couple things. I'm going to do an asterisk before showing these. I'm going to say they were found on private property. And they were not found by me. But the first is this. Hopefully it'll show pretty well.
Yeah, I see. That is awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a very nice specimen. It's still actually got, oh man, I don't know if this is showing. It's still got a pretty good blade on it. A Hohokam tomahawk head.
It's having a hard time because of your green screen. It's wanting to disappear a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And then here's another one that's even older. And I don't really know. I'm not an expert on these types of artifacts, but I do know this one's much older. The definition I've seen online is they call it prehistoric, not in like caveman times. It's just what they call it. But this one, and it's very similar, but definitely a much older specimen, more pitted. But those are a few cool things.
Where were they found at?
Private property.
No, but I meant in Arizona or?
Yes, Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And because you're talking about prehistoric and stuff like that, so just kind of wondering.
I've just seen the term. I don't believe at all that is a prehistoric, from caveman times. It's just a definition I've seen online on some of the sites that put value on items like this. The first one definitely is exactly what it is. And I've compared it to other versions, and this one is very nice because it still has a little bit of a sharp blade on it. But once again, you see something like that and you're like, what's the story? Like, obviously we know what a tomahawk was used for, but who carried it? What happened to that guy? What, did he kill somebody? I mean, who knows? But it's just some of the incredible things you can find out there.
No, those would be awesome to find. Somebody showed me I've got some claims up north, and they just showed me they just come into camp a couple of days ago, and they showed me that they found this arrowhead up there. Mm-hmm. And I know a while back, a couple of years ago, somebody else found an arrowhead up there too. So, but they're rare. You don't see them laying around all over. So to think that the Indians or whatever have been there all them years ago, this was up by Lake Mead, when Lake Mead was a lot higher, than what it was, where the water was so much higher. To have, roaming around like that.
Yeah,
could you imagine?
Yeah, just for the legalities, and I'm really big about preservation, so I want everybody to know too. I don't pick up pottery. Pottery stays put. I personally, I got to admit, if I found one of these tomahawk heads, yeah, it's going to come home. But I've never found an arrowhead, which is weird because I spent a lot of time in Southern Illinois, and there's tons of them down there. It's one of those weird things. Everybody, I've been with groups and they're like, oh, here's one. Nope, never found one. Just don't have the eyes for it. But I'm big about preservation, pottery and stuff. I find pottery all the time, and I respect it. I leave it. I'm kind of weird like that, in that I think it belongs where it is, but certain things not. It's there's some tribal things that do not belong in people's collections, because they're sacred or whatever. So make sure you do your homework and obviously know your legalities of wherever you're at too.
Well, that's true. And also, I mean, I remember when I was living out there, there used to be, how long you lived out there in Mesa?
Pretty much the whole time, about 22 years.
Okay. They used to have a club out there called Mesa Gold Diggers. I don't know
Okay.
if you're familiar with them, but
I've heard of it. Yeah.
they used to have some claims up at the Rye area. That's when I used to go up there. And they used to have
Mhm.
guest speakers that would come in. And this one speaker that came in to talk to the group one time talked about him and a buddy. I guess they found these Indian artifacts or something like that, and they took them. And then, so the one guy saying he was laying in bed at night and he got up during the night and this Indian guy was sitting on his bed and it really scared him. So he called his friend and said, whatever. And the friend said, hey, I saw the same thing. Well, it scared him. So he took everything back and left it. The friend never did. He kept all his. And I guess he ended up in prison for taking some of this stuff like that. But so he just said, when you take stuff like that, you're taking spirits and stuff home with you because
100%.
There's attachments. So
yeah, no, 100%. And I don't risk it. My dad, his heritage was Senecan Indian, and so I don't risk it. I respect it. I believe that, and it's no mystery, the superstitions is not just a mountain range. There's a reason it's called the superstitions, and I don't know that I always buy the lore and the how would I say, supernatural stories, but I'm open to them. But I do believe that mountain does have some pretty special spirits, and I think that you don't want to encourage bad things, especially like that, especially when it comes to Native Americans.
No. I want to take a break. I got to play a commercial, but you talked earlier about the camaraderie. Have you ever heard of the AI writing songs?
Yes. In fact, after your episode where you showed it for the first time, I want to thank you because like I said, I have a dear friend who's in his final days and he's passing, and I intend on releasing a YouTube little short with some photos because he doesn't allow photos of himself, but there are about 15. And I wanted a song, background to it, and I used that exact same piece of software, and it's pretty incredible what it does. I was shocked because it wrote a song and it did things I didn't even tell it to do, and it matches with my tribute to that person. It's crazy.
Oh. So I was going to play part of this song here, but it kind of goes along with what you're saying, talking about. But yeah, so you just put in what you want it basically to say and how it combines it. I just find that astronomical. But we're going to take a break, folks. So hang with us. We'll be right back.
Jack's got a shovel and a dream in his hands, staking claims neath the hot desert sand, chasing the glimmer of gold in the sun. Every hill climbed, it's a battle, but he's won. With friends beside him, he's never alone. Through valleys and mountains, they've made it their home. Treasure comes in the memories we make, in the laughter and stories our friendships create. Gold might be pretty, but it's nothing compared to the joy in the journey, the love that we share. They ride the ATV through the wide open plains, laughing and shouting, forgetting the pains. The wind on their faces, a taste of pure freedom. In the heart of Arizona, they know they'll beat 'em. Life's a wild ride, they shout out so bold. Jack says you never slow down, you never grow. Treasure comes in the memory memories we make, and the laughter and stories our friendships create.
Gold Fever Adventures Campground will once again have their annual New Year's Eve event starting December 29th to January 1st. Participants can arrive at any time. Check-in will be on the 28th of December, and check-out will be after breakfast on January 1st. That's if you're out of bed. It's a whole lot of fun. There'll be a lot of dirt that you can run yourself. Keep all the gold that you find. If you like, you can go out to some of the nearby claims and dig on your own or do a little bit of metal detecting. And then on New Year's Eve, we have a band that comes in and plays some awesome music. You can dance or even do a little bit of karaoke if you're brave enough. You can join in on some of the favorite games that we love to play. There's plenty of camping also. Make sure you call to reserve your spot. And all paid participants will receive a free pay dirt bag. How you doing, man?
This is a lot of fun, a lot of learning, a lot of experience, but it's a lot of fun and we're getting gold.
I think it's been great.
Yeah.
You know, there's been some new members show up and being able to talk to them and learn about them, and you know, other adventure members showing up. It's been a good outing, real good.
So call today and reserve your spot. Yes. Okay. And we are back. Hey, I didn't know. I forgot, but you were in that that little music thing there.
Was I?
Yeah, you made headlines in there.
Was it our little outing?
Yes. Yeah, it was part of that. Yeah. The little metal detecting hunt.
That was a fun day. I still am blown away by the Polaroid. I mean, I know we didn't have the greatest results, but you made me a believer.
You checked it out and done some stuff with it?
I've looked at it. I've recently acquired, I think, 4 or 5 old Polaroids. I actually will get with you another time and ask you which one I should keep. But yeah, I want to check that out. You said using them at dusk or dawn is the best.
Well, there's different theories behind them. Let's see. I don't think I have my books here. There's a couple books that's written on them. So there's a couple different theories, but from my understanding, the best camera is the SX70, the Polaroid SX70. And and then you got to get a ultraviolet filter for that. And you can buy, you get a little housing that clips on the front for the filters. Some people say they see them without them, and other people I know has a 600, and I have one of them too. I've never caught anything with the 600. Other people say they have. But I did a test one time when I went out there to the desert, and I took of this area with the 600, didn't find anything. With the SX70, didn't find anything. Put the filter on them. Man, I got flares all over the place. So, but they do say, now, Pat Keen we've just talked about this before with different people on the show, where the gases, just like the treasures and stuff like that, when they hide gold and silver in the ground, it creates a gas. And so the way Pat Keen explains it is like, they'll travel along the ground and they're looking for an opening. They'll come up, and then it goes away, and then it builds up. So as the ground heats up or cools down is when the best time and then there's old sayings where the Indians would look up the hills and they'd see these ghosts. They weren't ghosts. They were actually these, auroras or these flares.
Sure.
And the Polaroid cameras, because the way, like your newer camera is something to do with the light comes in first, where the old Polaroid, it comes in afterwards or something. And that's why so many people using these SX70 Polaroid cameras used to think they got bad film because they would see these flares and they thought the film was screwed up. They weren't
Sure.
realizing that they were actually seeing treasures. So, but anyways, yeah. So Stephen Peasley, hello. So yeah, so that's my understanding is that's the SX70. You can still get film for them right now. They're out of stock. You can get it at Polaroid.com, and you just got to keep an eye on it. And when they get them in as many as you can. It's like $10, or I think it's $10 a box or $20 a box or something like that. But I always generally get 10 boxes of them. And so now they're out of stock again. So you got to wait till they come in stock because it kind of disappears. But yeah. So which camera do you got?
I have no idea. I literally inherited like I said, I think 4 or 5, and I have no idea. One of them has bellows. I mean, so it's really old.
It opens
and then
up.
I couldn't tell you the models, but I got to clean them up, dust them off, and hopefully one of them is one of those.
Okay. Yeah, but there's a couple books out there that talk, go a lot of depth and detail on it and different things like that. But so I'm one of them that I've took them and, I've got the treasures. I haven't really explored some of these areas, but it's worth playing with anyway. So
sure.
All good. All righty. Well, let's see, Red. I'm down near Casa Grande and wonder if there are any areas halfway close that would be worth checking out near me.
Off the river there, just north for sure. Was it the Gila?
The Gila River?
Let me look.
I used to work out in Coolidge, and I used to play in Casa Grande a lot.
I know south, but then you run the risk. Once you go south, you run the risk of there's a lot of old mine shafts and stuff, but there's a lot of trafficking and the closer you get,
Richard Duke, hello. I know there's areas out there. I played out in them. GPA used to have some claims out in that area someplace, and down from Casa Grande, going down towards the Tucson area, there were some claims out there. But I'll tell you a funny story. With people that live in Casa Grande and Coolidge area and all that. When I first moved to Arizona, and you out there in that area too, so you'll know this area too. So the first job I took was at a country radio station. So I was DJing country radio station. So for my first week that I started this job, I'm doing overnights. And we had to read the weather. So they had the little NOAA weather things. We'd listen to the weather, and then we had to write down the weather. So this went on for a week. Now it's called Pinal County, right? You're in Pinal County. Well, me being new to Arizona, and I'm reading the weather, and I'm looking at this, and I'm saying, let's check the weather for Pinal County. And this went on for a week, me saying Pinal County. Until one day when my manager walks in and to relieve me in the morning, and he says, "Oh, and by the way, it's Pinal County." How long did I say this? So Pinal County.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Anyways, yeah. So are you guys all out there looking for claims? Just go on the internet, Google stuff in your area. You'll find prospecting clubs, places to go out, join a club. That's your best bet to learn different things. Join them clubs, hook up with people, learn the equipment, all of that type of stuff, and go from there. So that's your best bet. Steve Peasley, he's channel supporter now. Whoa.
And if anybody wants to contact me, I'm pretty easy. I do have a URL. It just bounces to my Instagram, but you can get a hold of me. It's just azgoldhunter.com. And that it shows a little bit of what I do, but the good part there is you can message me. I'm always willing to help. So if you need a tip or an area or to get in hold of somebody, just let me know.
So that's what you basically do is just Instagram. You're not on YouTube or nothing like that.
I have a YouTube channel. There's really nothing on it yet. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have a lot of footage on there that's not opened yet, and some of it is. I learned a mistake when I went out with you, naming certain areas and all that. And so some of it needs to be re-edited, including that spot, because I have footage of actual acquisition and stuff. But yeah, I have to re-edit some stuff. But hope to put some content up there because I do really I like to give back. I mean, for those that have helped me and continue. I'm still a new guy. So I'm like a sponge trying to learn more and more, both from you and various members of the community. So I like to help those that are behind me, you know.
Yeah. And you know, and I'm there with you. I love to share. I just love documentation. You know, I love history. I love ghost towns. I just love mining. You know, I just love all of that type of stuff, and to be able to film it, to share it, for me personally, so it becomes more personal when you document it, when you film it, when you're living it, and then to be able to share that. You know, I just enjoy that. That to me is, and I don't care if I'm dry washing. I went out and metal detect the other day. I'm out there for 2 hours. I found junk. That's all I'll film. That's all I'll show. You don't always find gold. You don't. You know, so
No, I agree,
real.
but sometimes, you know, not that long ago I was metal detecting and could have easily gotten frustrated because the only thing I found was an old pair of pliers. But the pair of pliers I found, I hadn't recognized, looked unlike a pair of pliers of today or even back in the 40s. And I bring it home, I look, and it's pliers from like 1902. I mean, how cool is that? And yeah, they're garbage, but what a find, you know? And so yeah, sometimes it's junk, sometimes, but it's the history, it's the quest.
Yes, it is. So thanks, Mark. Let's see. Anybody ever find anything on RR claims near Keystone Canyon? Haunted there a couple of times with no luck. I'm not sure where Keystone Canyon is.
I'm not.
That's not over by Kearney, is it? No. Keystone Canyon. I'm not sure. That's a Roadrunner's claim. I'm not sure where Keystone Canyon is, though. If Roadrunners have it, there's gold on it. Roadrunners don't keep their claims if they don't have gold on them. So that's one thing to know. Alan Barnett. Hello, Alan. Good show. Thank you.
So Keystone Canyon, I just looked it up. It's just northwest of Hayden. Yeah, definitely. I mean, but you know, that area you got to be careful because it's claimed up by I forget the name of the company, but they have almost every bit. But you're pretty safe to do the washes and stuff. I've been told by various employees of why can't I think of the name of it of the company out there, but I'm sure I guarantee there's probably some color there for sure. I mean, it's why they're there. It's why the big mines are all out there.
Are what's that Hukachuka prospector still going? That's got to be down south, I think, down by Tucson or something. The Hukachuka Mountains. I don't know. Hakachuka. I don't know how to say
Almost
that.
sounds like the military base, like the military intelligence base down south.
Yeah, that's mountain range. Hakachuka. That I'm not sure. Man, a lot of channel supporters in there. Mark, Stephen, Alan, Timothy. Wow. Okay, guys. I guess that's it. So,
definitely,
like I said, everybody got to harass Larry. What, you got an email? Or they just find you on Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, you could do azgoldhunt@gmail.com. Unfortunately, somebody took Hunter, but yeah, my main, like I said, normally Instagram's, and you don't have to do that, but yeah, you can email me azgoldhunt@gmail.com or azgoldhunter.com for if you want to find me on Instagram. I will be putting my YouTube channel up there at some point, but I appreciate you having me on, Jack. Appreciate everybody coming out today. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully in the future, I'll maybe we can get some video content. We do have raw footage from inside of the spiral staircase that I'd love to share with your viewers, and we'll do some other cool stuff in the future.
And I'd like to see that too. So, anyways, everybody go to Larry's Instagram page and just say hi. flooding with hellos. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, hey guys, we want to thank all you guys hanging with us. Let me find my ending song here.
Thanks, guys.
Song.
I got to get back to the mothership.
All right, you guys all take care. Thanks for hanging, everybody. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate you, man. We'll be in touch, guys. See y'all. Bye.
Jack's got a shovel and a dream in his hands, staking claims neath the hot desert sand, chasing the glimmer of gold in the sun. Every hill climbed, it's a battle, but he's won. With friends beside him, he's never alone. Through valleys and mountains, they've made it their home. Treasure comes in the memories we make, in the laughter and stories our friendships create. Gold might be pretty, but it's nothing compared to the joy in the journey, the love that we share. They ride the ATV through the wide open plains, laughing and shouting, forgetting the pains. The wind on their faces, a taste of pure freedom. In the heart of Arizona, they know they'll beat them. Life's a wild ride, they shout out so bold. Jack says you never slow down, you never grow. Treasure comes in the memories we make, in the laughter and stories our friendships create. Gold might be pretty, but it's nothing compared to the joy in the journey, the love that we share. Life's a hell ride, they shout out so bold. Jack says you never slow down, you never grow. Treasure comes in the memories we make, in the laughter and stories our friendships create. Gold might be pretty, but it's nothing compared to the joy in the journey, the love that we share. So here's to the gold in the lives that we hold. Jack's got his friends, and that's worth more than gold.